Here with Nicholls women's basketball coach DoBee Plaisance, and coach, you were able to pull out a win. I know the lead at halftime was a lot larger than it was at the end, but you ended up pulling out the win. You snapped 2 streaks in the process of losing to UCA at home, and your losing streak. Just tell us a little bit about this win and just what your thoughts are going into the next half of conference play.
The biggest excitement I have for my team right now is about the discipline and the accountability we showed. We have been hammering that home. You need to be disciplined. You need to be accountable for your actions. You have to take ownership. The win in and of itself is awesome, but the way my kids, the way these kids, the way Nicholls women's basketball team stepped up tonight in terms of being disciplined and being accountable, and even when the wheels started wobbling a little bit, there was no way those wheels were coming off the wagon tonight. I felt it, I saw it, and I couldn't be any happier for my women in this program.
Coach, talk a little bit about the in the second half when it looked like the foul count was 8-2, and it seemed like the girls were getting a little bit of foul trouble. You still wanted them to play tenacious defense, but at the same time you had to tell them to hold off. Just what were some of the changes defensively that you saw to try to keep UCA especially off their offensive rebounds, but just kind of try to keep them from scoring enough to where you could hold off the onslaught?
Actually, it wasn't about holding off. It was about being smart, and that's what I'm talking about, discipline. The foul count was not to our advantage, but that's no fault to anyone. It's not the official or anything. So what did we have to do? We couldn't back off the intensity. We couldn't. So that just meant we have to step up and play harder and play smarter. You don't want to foul, you just got to play smart. Be accountable. We could do it, and that was my emphasis to them. Don't you dare back off. Don't you dare play scared because we got this foul count against us. But what you need to do is play smart, and that they did.
Coach KK Babin led the way with over 30 points. It was a career-high night for her. Just tell us about her play. She scored 14 of the last 15 points in the second half to really put the game away at the end. Just tell us about her play, her leadership out there on the court, just to try to keep everybody focused. I know when you call a timeout, she was the first one in the huddle yelling, getting everybody to stay focused. Just tell us about her play.
Well, her play takes care of itself. What was huge for KK tonight is the amount of lead. She's always leading. She's the consummate team player. She's constantly leading. She's constantly doing all the right things. But her leadership tonight was leadership squared. She was not going to let her team down. And not by way of just putting points up on the board, by picking them up when they need to be picked up, by reinforcing what was coming out of the huddle, by talking about the discipline talk, because it was all about practice. After what we've experienced the last couple of games, it's like, ladies, we need to become disciplined and accountable. If those two things occur, you're going to win ball games. And she was the one that stepped up like huge and made sure and ensured that that was going to happen with her teammates.
And lastly, Coach, real quick, you get a week off now to prepare for Southeastern. Just tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are, what your plans are going into that game. Another big game against an arch rival next Saturday.
We have to step it up. This was huge, and what we have to do is we cannot become comfortable, and that's been a problem too. Whether it's we get up in a ball game or get in a little bit of a winning streak, we cannot become comfortable. And I'm not using the word complacent because these kids aren't becoming complacent, but sometimes they get a little bit too comfortable and little things don't matter, and that's going to be the emphasis at practice. We're going to up the ante at practice. This week at practice is going to be far more intense, far more drilling, far more grilling than it's ever been for during the season practice, that is, not preseason. And that's going to be the emphasis. We cannot get comfortable. We have to run with this and go with this and expound on this.